On January of 1835, Jackson would be leaving a congressional funeral when he'd be approached by an unemployed painter by the name of Richard Lawrence. And when Richard Lawrence saw Jackson, he would make a beeline for him, and about 8 feet away, he would reach into his pocket and pull out a pistol. And at point-blank range, he would discharge the pistol at the president. Now, the percussion cap on the pistol would fire, which would create a bang. However, that percussion cap did not set off the actual bullet in the pistol, which would then misfire. Jackson, of course, could not help but notice the man who just attempted to shoot him at point-blank range would, despite his age of 69 years old, reach up to grab his cane, pull it up, and begin to approach Richard Lawrence with the cane raised high. Richard Lawrence, seeing the president now coming towards him, reached into his pocket and would pull out a second pistol, and with Jackson even closer, would pull the trigger, and once again, the second pistol would misfire. Jackson, now approaching Lawrence there full on, will do a mighty swing of his cane at him, but Richard Lawrence ducks out of the way just in time. However, remember I mentioned it was a congressional funeral, so there was a lot of people around leaving with Jackson. The crowd rushes forward by this point, and some men will tackle Richard Lawrence to the ground. Other men will grab Jackson and begin to usher him away. However, Jackson did not want to leave, later being quoted as saying, let me at him, I know where this came from." But they would not. They would bring him into a carriage and usher him away to safety. What's really interesting, though, this was a very politically charged environment at the time. A lot of people, including Jackson, thought this was a politically motivated attempt on his life. However, modern scholars today do believe this was not related to a political attempt, it was merely personal for Richard Lawrence. Speaking of him, when the police got him, they would interrogate him as to why exactly he did this attempt on his life. Well, the first answer he gave is that Jackson killed his father, but that was quickly proven false, and that Jackson owed him various monies for his estates he owned in different places. And even at his trial, he would show up dressed in a nice hunting jacket and a cravat, looking down his nose at every single person, be they jury or judge, telling them it's not for you to make a judgment upon me, it's for me to make a judgment upon you. He would be found not guilty by reason of insanity and was committed to an insane asylum for the rest of his life. But the most interesting part of the whole story, that those 2 pistols he used, they were examined by the police and were emptied of their previous powder and shot and put in with new stuff and fired the pistols, and both worked perfectly fine. Working on that theory, they would reload the pistols with the same bullet and same shot, and both pistols would work perfectly fine yet again. So today there's a great mystery as exactly why those pistols did not fire that morning. Some people say it was a very damp, cold, misty day, and the powder was just too wet to properly fire off. Some, of course, say it was just some luck, or Jackson just had someone looking out for him that particular day. Regardless, it would be the first recorded attempt on a president's life in America.